Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. All right, today our math talk's going to be recorded for YouTube so you can be famous around the world for showing how smart you are. It is going to require very little math. But it's going to teach you something that will help you for the rest of your life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a problem up here first. You don't have any pencils. Your desks are clear. You're just watching.
I'm just watching.
No.
Hi, all the people on there. Oh, okay. I know you can't see me, but I'm live.
Now, do I need to not record in this class? I did that last year in my third class. I had to stop recording because they acted like fools. We don't want to make that happen. All right, so as you can tell, what we're working on today by looking at the agenda is multiplication of whole numbers and decimals. Multiplication of whole numbers and decimals. If you can multiply whole numbers, you can multiply decimals. But one of the most important things is to be able to do some estimation. Cade once told me that when he was doing math, he got an answer and then estimated whether he did it right and made sense, and he was like, no, that's not right. So I'm going to ask you, this product needs to have a decimal point somewhere in it. This product needs to have a decimal point somewhere in it. I'm going to call on somebody, but I'm going to go to Team Shake app because I paid 99 cents for it. I need to get my money's worth.
Can I pay you 99 cents?
You can pick us.
You can pay me 99 cents if you want. Essien, tell me where you think the decimal point goes and why you think it goes there.
Between the 7 and the 6.
Okay, Essien thinks it goes between the 7 and the 6. Can you tell me why? Wait a minute, stop. Don't tell me why. How many of you agree with him? Oh, y'all are just raising your hands because you think Essien's smart. So, why do you think it goes there?
Well, because I know that if you just take out the decimals in the first two numbers that you multiply, that you'll end up with a two-digit number. So the result would have to end with a two-digit number.
So if we just round it to the nearest whole number, we'd have 3 times 5, which gives us a two-digit number, a two-digit whole number, which means our answer has to have a two-digit number. Muy bien, muy inteligente, mi estudiante. Los otros estudiantes me vuelven loco, pero él está muy inteligente.
No hablo español.
Then how do you know it was Spanish?
I just hear my parents all
If
day.
you don't hablo español, how do you know it was Spanish? And how could you tell me in Spanish that you don't speak Spanish? That's crazy.
You can look
That's
it up
crazy.
on the internet.
But you didn't.
No, my parents are saying like if they want to eat ice cream, they just talk in Spanish in front of us, like, and we're like, what the heck?
All right, we have our next one. Let's ask Isabella. How do you say this factor? 0 and 9/10. Awesome. Thank you, Isabella. Said that factor correctly. Dylan, how do you say this factor? See, with Team Shake, see, this is what I had a student last year. His nickname was Student Who Doesn't Make Eye Contact because he thinks if he doesn't make eye contact, he won't be called on. Which is a really long nickname. But see, that nickname doesn't work if you're using Team Shake. So I'm not saying that Dylan just doesn't look at me because she doesn't want to be called on, but Dylan doesn't look at me because she doesn't want to be called on. So Dylan, how do you say this factor in words?
2 and 46 hundredths.
2 and 46 hundredths. Why don't you want to answer? You're brilliant.
Because I don't like answering questions.
Yes, but you're brilliant. Now, Heaven, Heaven, we have the numbers in our product. There needs to be a decimal point in there, Heaven. Where do you think the decimal point would go, Heaven? Between the 2 and the 1. Please explain to me why you selected that. Wait a minute. Stop. Raise your hand if you agree with Heaven. Okay? Tell me why you selected that, Heaven. You don't know? You just like flipped a coin and went heads between the 2 and 1. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You should have gone with tails. Jacob J.
It goes in between the 2 and the 2.
How do you know that? Wait a minute. Raise your hand if you agree with Jacob J. Okay, tell me why you picked that, Jacob J.
Because 0 times 2 would be like nothing, but 9 times 46 would be a big number, so it would go over and add a decimal point, but it wouldn't add a 2-digit one, because that's way too much.
Okay. He said a lot of words. 0 times 2 is nothing. That was where it started. Okay, we're good. We're good. Carlos, you agreed with him. What's your reasoning for putting it between the 2s? Because he did? Oh, you have to have a reason.
0 times 2 equals nothing, so then
Both of you know 0 times 2 equals nothing. We are moving in the right direction. By certainly the end of class today, we'll be able to multiply 10-digit by 10-digit numbers. If we understand 0 times 2 equals nothing. We're flying through this. All right, let me ask you this, Bailey. If I wanted to round 9/10 to the nearest whole number, what would it round to? If I'm rounding my ones place, look behind it. I'd add 1. So
1 times 2.
1 times 2. And 1 times 2 is 2. That tells us where we need to put our decimal point. See, this number talk really is using rounding, which we've already done. Using simple multiplication, which we've already done. Using some logic and common sense, which you probably have never used before, but we're starting today. That's it for us. All right, let's see. Will, how do you say the first factor?
9 and 1/10.
9 and 1/10. Kate, how do you say the second factor?
5 and 7/10.
5 and 7/10. Ariana, Ari, where do you put the decimal point?
Between the 8 and 7.
The 8 and the 7. Why?
I don't know.
You don't know. Flip the coin.
Yes.
Middle. It didn't say heads or tails. It's the middle. Well, Jonas, you can't raise your hand. Team Shake doesn't raise hand. Team Shake just calls on.
Team Shake, raise your hand.
Oh, she's not here. Brady! She didn't know, so let me ask you where you would put the decimal point. Not you, Darvish. She's a pitcher for the Chicago Cubs, but U-Y-O-U.
Yes, me.
Yes. No, not me. You.
Okay, me.
No, you.
You.
Yes, you. Good. Where would you put the decimal point?
Between the 1 and the 8.
Between the 1 and the 8. Why, Brady?
Because if you round the 9, he doesn't do anything, so it's just going to be a 9. Then if you do the thing for the 5, then that makes it a 6. So 6 times 9 51, 54.
Good, 54. Which 51's in the neighborhood of 54? 518's not in the neighborhood of 54. 5,187 is not in the neighborhood of 54. 5 is not in the neighborhood of 54. 5 is not in the neighborhood of 54. And I believe we have one more because I need more people to get called on by Team Shake.
I didn't know this was
Matilda, what is the first factor? How would you say it in words?
4 and 8 tenths.
4 and 8 tenths. Awesome. Jacob M., how would you say the second factor in words?
6 and 100.
6 and 100th. Bailey, where do you think we should put that darn decimal point?
Between the 2 and the 8.
Between the 2 and the 8. Why? Bailey?
Because if you look at all the other numbers, they had the same decimal point. They had the decimal point before the can't like really kind of explain it.
Can't explain it?
It's hard to.
Hard to? Andrew, where would you put the decimal point? You agree? You disagree? You kind of agree? Agree or disagree? That is the question. You don't know? So if I said in order to leave school today on time, you have to tell me where to put the decimal point. Where would you tell me, Andrew? Between the 8 and the 8. Why? I can't hear Andrew. Why, Andrew? Good. So if we round these decimals to whole numbers, I'd end up with 5 times 6, which would give me 30. 28's in the neighborhood of 30. 2's not. 288's not. 2,884 is not. 28,848 is not. So this would be a good way to determine whether your answer is reasonable. In a moment, you will be getting these notes to glue into you're shaking the entire world, to be put in your journal. Those notes come complete with 4 problems that you're going to have to fill in before you glue it in your journal. Boom! Shakalaka! Peace out! God bless! Love ya! Do something kind today!